Well, hello everyone. This is Cindy, and I'm making a wonderful card today with Peaceful Cabin stamp set. I was looking for something that I could do that's not Christmas, could be Christmas, but I actually needed a thank you card. And winter's coming up, and I thought this would be a great time to do some winter thank you cards instead of, unfortunately we're out of summer, we're into fall, and winter's right around the corner. So I thought Peaceful Cabin would be an excellent stamp set to do that with. And this is a great way to make a quick and easy card. And let me show you how. We have this designer series paper, and actually this particular sheet came in 4 pieces in a 12 by 12. So I was able to cut 4 6 by 6 pieces out. So I think that's great. So with that, I decided that I was going to make this card, and this is how I'm going to show you what we're going to be making today. So let's get started on our card. This is our standard card size, and this is 5.5. This is an 8.5 sheet of paper, cut at 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Then on this, I decided I wanted to do just a little bit of it showing. So I actually took a sheet and I just did it down 1/8 shorter. So when you put that on, it'll be 1/8 that's showing. All right, so just look at your cutting and actually just do one little kind of like it's a medium size score mark, and that would be 1/8. All right, now on this one, again, I'm using a lot of dies because I did a card for Elaine over at Paper Crafts by Elaine, and I did it with the same stamp set, and I used a lot of dies. This one is kind of fun because you can use your dies and your stamp, but mainly I'm using the dies, and let me show you how I did this. So I stamped with my basic gray, and I stamped the cabin, and then with that I took this die, and this die actually just cuts out the outline, which is great. And as you can see, you can kind of put it on here and it'll cut out this whole area right here for you, which is wonderful. So after that, and actually I used the Stamparatus because I noticed that I wanted it a little darker, so I actually was able to stamp this twice. So even if you have too much on the white, you can just do it on the middle of your white sheet of paper, your basic white. You can even just decide to put the stamp. Make sure that you're leaving enough down here and centering it with the die so you get an idea of where that would go. So you can do all of that on the Stamparatus. And then just leave enough where you can trim it, so when you put it on your card, you kind of decide where you want your design and where you want your cabin to fall. And that's where I wanted it. I didn't want it all the way over to the edge, so you're going to see I have a little gap here, but that's okay. We're going to cover that up. I wanted this tree to show, and I wanted these trees to show in the background. I used these dies to cut out my foil that's in our holiday catalog, our silver foil, and I used the 3 different ones, and I also cut out these little snowflakes. So it's great. So I did a couple of sets of those snowflakes, so I have plenty of extra so I can put it around the sky, because I thought that would be fun since it looks like there's snow all over the trees. All right, so now that I've kind of explained a lot of that, now one other thing I'm going to do on this one is we have this cute little fox, and this fox is right here. Isn't he just adorable? Well, you can stamp him again on a white sheet of paper and use this die to cut him out. And I did the same technique. I just used a piece of paper, I cut him out, and then I cut this out, leaving a long enough place because I decided that I wanted to kind of tuck him out behind here. So you kind of just look at how do you want to lay out your card. That is the key piece, and you always have enough where you can do some trimming. And I left enough here so I can show you that you can still do some trimming if you need to do that. So let's start putting this together. I'm going to use my trusty little, whatever adhesive you like. You can use Tombow, you can use your snail, you can use whatever you'd like. And you can go ahead and put this down since this is already cut. And I just want a little bit showing on the other side. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to put my cabin down, and I'm going to line him up so he's at this edge. And remember, I'm going to have this gap over here, but I'm going to use one of our trees to cover that up. So the way I'm going to do this is I just want some snail at the bottom, because I'm going to tuck some things under that. Like I said, I'm going to tuck this, so you can actually do that before we put that up. So depending on where you want the fox and how far you want him up, you can kind of gauge him there. And you can do any trimming that you need. Like here's just a little bit of trimming that I have at the bottom here that I can trim up to make sure it's nice and even. And then you can put that all down. And see, now it's stuck to that. So I can put a little bit of adhesive there. And I can just go ahead, line this up, put this down. And there you go. Now, like I said, I cut out some of my trees and things. I did that all in advance so I would save some time. But here's the tree that I'm going to put over here. So that way your eye is just going to go to the tree and not look at the fact that your paper didn't go all the way over. Now you could stick another little sheet of paper under that if you wanted. You could do that too, but I didn't want to do that. I thought, this is good enough. It's going to show, and it's going to ground this a little bit so they're showing that there's some trees here too. Now I have a couple of other trees that I have, and I'm going to tuck those behind my cabin just to give it a little depth. And then I'm going to give something over here so it kind of just hides that snow. But again, you're putting your design of how you want your card to be. These are just ideas for you. But I love making quick and easy cards. All of this I just cut out in advance with my dies. Makes it really easy when you have all your pieces done. Then you can put this down. On this other card, I did a wishing you the best, but I decided this time I'm going to leave this blank, and I'm just going to put my thank you on the inside. So now I already cut out my little snowflakes like I mentioned. Now the key on this, when you have fat little fingers, is you need your pick a tool. This is a great device because it also has the putty on this end, as well as it's got other pieces on this end. It's also got a brush attachment that you can add to this. But I decided that I needed something to pick it up because I was having a horrible time with my fat little fingers. Now, the way I attach these is I kind of decide where I want some of my snowflakes to go. I pick them up with my tool, with my putty end, and then look how easy that is. And with these little dots of Tombow, it's really easy to glue them down. And you just kind of decide where you want. I put a few down first to kind of see where everything's looking. Now, see what I'm saying? This little oh, there we go. Now he's on the right side. I'm going to put him up here. So now I've already got 3. Now I decided I want to put one down here. So I'm going to put a little glue dot there. And I'm going to put one over here, and I think I'll put one down here, and then we'll see where we're at. So I think I'll put a big one here. And that's why it's nice to do several of these, because then you can decide what size of star you want. I think I'll put a small one down here, and I'm going to put a big one up here, because I've got a lot of little ones up here. I need to put a big one up there. Look at that. Well, I said I got 6. I got to do one more because you know me, I always do things in odd numbers. How about we stick a little star over here, kind of neck it over on that area. Stick that down. There we go. Now, isn't that pretty? Now you can bunch them up a little bit more if you want. You can even put more stars if you wanted to. But for me, I think that's enough. So I'm going to put this set aside. Now I have my inside of my card. I love this basic gray color. It went really well with this cardstock. So with my basic white. So I decided on the inside, I'm going to do a little scene, and I'm going to use these 3 trees, and I'm going to do that in my basic gray. Kind of keep everything uniform. I'm not going to add any other colors in here. Now me, I always got to stamp it first, make sure it's working right. Oh, that looks great. And then I can see what it's going to look like. So I'm going to put this all the way over, kind of, because I've got this one coming down. That's great. A little bit of difference is nice. Not everything always has to be over to the right. It can be at the left. I'm going to do my thank you. Put That right there. Woo! Look at that. Can't do anything quicker than this. I tell you, the key to this is just get your stamping done for the front and do some die cutting. You can do multiples of those. Again, like I've mentioned, Stamparatus is a great tool to use for that. And there you go. There is your quick and easy card. All of a sudden my screen went blank. I was like, oh my God, where'd everybody go? But there it is, your card today. And this is made with Peaceful Cabin. If you're interested in seeing the other card that I made, I'll give you a quick glance here. This is the other card I made. Ooh, isn't that pretty? You can go over to Paper Crafts by Elaine, and I did a video on there on Monday, so a couple of days ago, so you can go over there and take a look. So stay tuned for next Tuesday, where on YouTube and on Facebook I will have another quick and easy card. So I hope to see you soon now. Bye now.